Do we have a low education rating? Not to talk trash about Rio Rancho, but it's still in its infancy. You're never gonna say Rio Rancho because nobody knows what the fuck it is. Well, I guess I'm just from Albuquerque. Don't get too big for your britches, Rio Rancho. We're still coming for you. Did you know that Rio Rancho's not that old of a city? It can be traced back to the 1960s when it was part of a massive land development project called the Rio Rancho Estates. Originally designed as a retirement community, it quickly grew into one of New Mexico's fastest growing cities. From its unique history to its modern day amenities, Rio Rancho has some surprising secrets that you may want to know before making the move here. So let's explore 8 key insights about this vibrant city. There's a local legend that the movie Glengarry Glen Ross was all about Rio Rancho. And it's more of a myth than fact. The movie was based on a 1984 play which focuses on cutthroat real estate salesmen, and while it doesn't directly reference Rio Rancho, there are some interesting historical parallels. In the 1960s and 70s, Rio Rancho was heavily marketed as a prime real estate investment attracting out-of-state buyers. They used some aggressive sales tactics, and this connection may have fueled the legend, but there's no direct link between the film and the city. Rio Rancho's beginnings trace back to the early 1960s when it was developed by a company called AmRep. Now, the company purchased a large portion of the King Ranch, which covered over 55,000 acres. And AmRep aggressively marketed these land parcels to prospective buyers, particularly on the East Coast, using tactics like direct mail campaigns, sales presentations, YouTube. Now, these acre plots were sold as part of the Rio Rancho estates, with many buyers investing sight unseen. While some buyers intended to build homes, many bought land as a speculative investment, contributing to the rapid expansion of Rio Rancho. This is why if you ever drive around Rio Rancho, you'll see these giant acre parcels, and then there's really nothing else out there. And in this video, we're gonna cover a couple of things like traffic patterns and commute times, best neighborhoods for new construction, population growth, cost of living, education in schools, outdoor and recreational opportunities, the pros and cons versus living in Rio Rancho versus Albuquerque, and of course, local amenities and future developments that you need to be aware of. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip real estate company here in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, and we specialize in helping people relocate here from all over the world. So let's talk about traffic pattern and commute times. There's a couple things you need to know about living in Rio Rancho. Number one, I won't say it's landlocked, but it can be a challenge if you're working in Albuquerque and you're living in Rio Rancho. Now, the main highway that connects the two cities is called New Mexico 528. And 528 can get a little bit of a bottleneck when you start to cross the river. So there's 2 places in Rio Rancho that I would recommend living. The first is on the southern side of Rio Rancho, closer to Albuquerque. And there's a few different neighborhoods here that I want to highlight, because it's important to understand peak traffic times on major routes like New Mexico 528. And you can avoid major congestion by living in the right area. Here's why that's important. The closer you are to Albuquerque, obviously, the better your commute time. But here's a secret. If you live on the north end of Rio Rancho, you can go out the back door to New Mexico 550, head east to I-25, and then book it all the way down to Albuquerque. Now, I-25 is the main highway that goes north-south through Albuquerque, and it connects Albuquerque to Santa Fe. So it's kind of a backdoor hack if you're living in Rio Rancho to bypass a lot of the traffic. The speed limit on I-25 is 75 miles an hour, and so you can actually just bomb straight into town or straight up to Santa Fe, depending on where you work. Number 2, let's talk about some of the best neighborhoods and where all the new construction is happening. Rio Rancho is still in its infancy. It's known as the City of Vision. And the vision is to have development all throughout the Rio Rancho Valley. So there's a couple of fantastic neighborhoods that are all master planned communities with parks and walking trail that you should know about. Some of the neighborhoods include Loma, Colorado, Enchanted Hills, Mariposa for modern amenities, and 2 of my favorite places that you absolutely need to know about are Los Diamantes. This is on the south side of Rio Rancho. It's a brand new community. Here's what some of the homes look like in this area. Cut to B-roll. And you can see some of these homes are custom homes built on some of these acre lots, half-acre lots. And while the lots are big, you have to understand Rio Rancho is just dirt. It's tumbleweeds, it's desert, it's sand. So you may have this big lot, but don't expect to have big shade trees or developed landscaping. It's going to be kind of a desert wasteland. So when you buy one of these big lots, it's just going to be dirt, and it can be a lot to maintain, especially in the windy season when that dirt is going to blow through your windowsills and get all over your tile floors. Trust me, my wife knows all about that. The next area of Rio Rancho that I love is on the north end, so you'll be able to use that back door to get out of Rio Rancho and avoid the traffic. And it's called Lomas Encantadas, and here's why I love it. Besides the walking trails and the parks, you're gonna get more amenities out there. See, Rio Rancho is still growing. There's not a lot of things to do as far as shopping and nightlife. But on the north end of town, in Lomas Encantadas, you'll find shopping, retail, dining options, and then it's also closer to Santa Fe. So in the event you're working in Santa Fe, take that back door out and bomb all the way up. Number 3, let's talk about population growth. Rio Rancho is one of New Mexico's fastest growing city with a focus on first-time homebuyers or move-up families or professionals seeking suburban life with urban conveniences. Now your money's gonna go a lot further in Rio Rancho when it comes to buying real estate. Here's how I would kind of describe Rio Rancho. It's like, so you can actually like smell the sunscreen and like, I always picture like soccer moms making those little orange wedges for soccer practice. That's basically the smell you get when you drive into Rio Rancho. The funny thing about living in Rio Rancho is that people are excited to live in Rio Rancho. And so if you ask them locally, hey, where are you living? They'll tell you Rio Rancho. They won't say Albuquerque, even though it's basically the same thing. Rio Rancho is just kind of like the west side of Albuquerque. And you can always tell when you're in Rio Rancho because you're driving on these like rough Albuquerque roads. And then once you hit Rio Rancho, it's like smooth sailing, like nice new asphalt and everything. But worldwide, if you're living in Rio Rancho and you're traveling to like, you know, outside of New Mexico and somebody asks you where you live, you're never gonna say Rio Rancho because nobody knows what the fuck it is. You would just say, I'm from Albuquerque. And that's kind of the funny thing. Locally, no, I'm Rio Rancho. But then once you get out, they kind of lose that, well, I guess I'm just from Albuquerque. Number 4, let's jump into the cost of living. So property taxes are a little bit less in Rio Rancho with the exception of a couple of brand new neighborhoods. And the reason is brand new neighborhoods come with something called a PID, a PID. This is a way that developers will help offset the cost of building new neighborhoods. And so just be aware, if you're buying a brand new home, more than likely it's gonna come with a PID that will increase the amount of property taxes you pay. But what you get with that are brand new amenities, brand new streets and homes, parks, and just a better feeling in a neighborhood. But either way, the lower cost of living in Rio Rancho provides more of a cost-effective living mechanism, making it ideal for budget-conscious families or move-up people that are trying to buy a bigger home. There's some great opportunity for views as well in Rio Rancho. Now, anywhere in Albuquerque, you'll always see the Sandia Mountains. But you go a little bit north into Rio Rancho, and then all of a sudden the Sandia Mountains take on a whole different shape and 3D texture, because you're looking at it from a different angle. So the views in Rio Rancho are fantastic if you can find a lot that faces the right direction. Question: which social media platform are you most active on? I'd love for you to connect with me, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or here on YouTube. Just search for Sold by Skip and follow along. Additionally, I've put together a comprehensive relocation guide that'll pinpoint all the cool spots in Albuquerque and surrounding areas, as well as answer some questions on what it takes to relocate here to New Mexico. And the good news is I'm giving it away for free. Just click the link below. Another important thing is number 5, education in schools. Now, I grew up in Albuquerque and I went to school in Albuquerque. I was on the baseball team at La Cueva High School. Not to talk trash about Rio Rancho, but it's still in its infancy. Now, the schools there do have a much higher rating than a lot of areas in Albuquerque, and the athletics are they're starting to become a powerhouse. I will say, however, the state championship baseball was La Cueva this year, and we did beat Rio Rancho. Not talking trash, I'm just saying, don't get too big for your britches, Rio Rancho. We're still coming for you. Now, Rio Rancho public schools do have a high school rating depending on which website you go to. So Sue Cleveland High School has this dope football stadium, and it's like Friday night lights. You can see the stadium lights from all over town. It's fun to watch a game there because you get that feeling. It's like a brand new facility. So with these school systems, they do have a focus on STEM education, and STEM is necessary in New Mexico because do we have a low education rating? I mean, it's what I'm used to, but STEM education is important because we have companies like Facebook and Intel here, and it's important to raise our kids with the opportunity to learn STEM education. Number 6, let's talk about outdoor and recreational opportunities. Now, New Mexico is known for our outdoor activities, right? We have 300 days of sunshine, mountains, mountain biking, skiing. So you're gonna have easier access to the Rio Grande Valley for bike trails. One thing to note, if you are riding bikes and you're riding out through the mesa, Goat heads. Goat heads are these stickers with these massive thorns. And if you ever grew up here, you know that on the west side of Albuquerque or in Rio Rancho, you're prone to get goat heads in your bike tires. And it's one of those things where if you're not prepared for it, if you don't have the thick rubber tires, you're gonna break down, you're gonna get a flat tire. That's just part of living out in the desert, is that we have stickers and thorns that will pop your tires. One cool place that the kids love is something called a park above. And this is a park in Rio Rancho with plenty of play structures and shade and foam and AstroTurf and a water feature as well. So there's a splash pad. And this is a cool feature, but make sure you get there early because during the summertime, we will pass 100 degrees, maybe 5 days out of the year, but that sun when we're at elevation will just beat down on you. So get there early to beat the rush, find a shady spot and enjoy a park above. And this is one of the places that I highlighted on my Instagram channel. So if you're on Instagram, give me a follow at Sold by Skip and check out some of the cool neighborhood behind the scenes tours that we do. But keep in mind, Rio Rancho is a dust bowl. We don't have grass, we don't have lush landscaping out here because we are in a high desert and the windswept plains will blow dust everywhere. I always joke that Rio Rancho is kind of a tumbleweed factory. And if you didn't know, tumbleweeds are a real thing. And so most of them will grow this green bush with thorns on it. And then every year they die, uproot, and then they start blowing into the landscape. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of living in Rio Rancho versus Albuquerque. Rio Rancho is still in its infancy, and so there are not a lot of restaurants and opportunities for shopping and nightlife. But we do have some of the main grocery chains. We do have Target, Walmart, Home Depot, everything that you're gonna need. But when it comes to nightlife, you're definitely gonna have to go into Albuquerque. So the commute time to Albuquerque can be a pain in the ass if you're traveling with traffic. So Rio Rancho's here, traffic patterns are gonna go south to Albuquerque, and then coming back, it's gonna be a nightmare as well, getting in on New Mexico Road 528. But there are some backdoor roads that you can go through like Unser to get you into Rio Rancho. Now, when it comes to crime stats, I always recommend checking out crimemapping.com and it'll show you on a map where the crime is. And surprise, surprise, Albuquerque typically has a higher incidence of crime compared to Rio Rancho according to the website. So always check out crimemapping.com to better understand who your neighbors are, where your car is more likely to get broken into, and just know that Rio Rancho does have more of a small town feel to it. Overall, in Rio Rancho versus Albuquerque, the cost of living is gonna be less. You're gonna have more of an opportunity to get a bigger home. Your money is gonna go a lot further. Keep in mind, the nicer neighborhoods are gonna have an HOA and a PID, so it may increase your costs, but overall, properties are more affordable in Rio Rancho. On our website, you'll find a buyer information tab, and if you click on it, it'll walk you through our hassle-free process for moving to Albuquerque or Rio Rancho. Some of the features that make us different would be our concierge service, who will make sure you have all your paint and carpet done before you move here. We'll change out the locks, make sure your utilities are set up. Additionally, if you're in transition or you haven't closed on your new house yet, we have the ability to offer a furnished short-term rental. This is if you don't close on your new house for another week or so and you need a place while you're in transition, we've got you covered. A couple of things that we do different when it comes to searching for properties. We like to offer not just MLS listing, but we try and find properties that are off market. If you find a neighborhood that you really love, but we can't find anything available, we have the ability to find you off market properties before they even come to market so you can beat out the competition. Additionally, we offer a new home construction tour. Here's what that looks like. When you land, we'll pick you up at the airport if needed, hopefully not. Rent a car, you're an adult, and we'll take you through all the new home construction opportunities that are in Rio Rancho. Now, Rio Rancho is exploding with new construction, and there's local builders, regional builders, or nationwide builders, depending on what your style is. We can even go custom homes on one of those acre lots with a mountain view. But I'll show you what those areas look like, and we'll go through and find out what those builder incentives are. So new home construction, off-market listings, and MLS listings. Our goal is to put you in the best position possible when making the move here to New Mexico. So click the link and schedule a buyer consultation. In that, we'll go over our buyer-broker agreement, which creates a professional relationship between us, outlines my role as your broker, details how our team is compensated, and it'll allow us to legally advocate for you in the home buying process. So click that link on our website and learn more. If you find any value in these videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button because we post videos like this every week. Hey, I'm Sold by Skip, and we look forward to having you in New Mexico. Wait! Before you leave, I want to share another video you might find informative by clicking up here. And lastly, friends, don't forget to subscribe by clicking this link to stay up to date with future videos. As always, visit soldbyskip.com for a free list of homes priced to sell. Thanks for watching.